Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something huge happening over in Egypt, specifically in the Sokhna industrial zone. A recent announcement from the Prime Minister has pulled back the curtain on a massive plan, and we're going to break down how a nation is literally building its economic future from the ground up. So let's get right into it. I mean, it's a huge question, right? And today we're getting a fascinating, real-world look at the answer. We're talking about a region that's transforming from just a blueprint on paper into a buzzing reality, and it's happening at an incredible speed. And this is what kicked the whole thing off. In a single day, the Prime Minister cut the ribbon on 9 brand new factories. Now, this is way more than just a photo op. It's a powerful signal of just how intense and coordinated this industrial push really is, all happening at once. Okay, so those 9 factories, they're really just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the whole Sokhna industrial zone, because it's becoming a true economic engine for the entire Suez Canal region. Just to put this in perspective, there are already 190 factories up and running in this zone right now. That's a pretty significant industrial base already, right? Already making things, already creating value. But as you're about to see, that's really just the beginning of the story. Because get this, right now, another 150 factories are being built as we speak. This isn't just some future plan. These are facilities literally rising from the ground, getting ready to join the 190 that are already there. The pace of this development is just staggering. And when you see the numbers laid out like this, you really get a sense of the ambition here. You've got the operating factories and then this massive pipeline of new ones coming online. You realize the industrial capacity here is set to nearly double in the very near future. The momentum is just undeniable. Of course, this isn't just about concrete and steel. The most crucial part is what this means for people. All this development translates directly into tens and maybe even hundreds of thousands of new jobs. It's a huge opportunity for Egypt's young and growing population. So you have to ask, what's the big strategy driving all this? Well, it's a very deliberate national plan to flip the script, to shift from being a country that imports key goods to one that produces them locally. And they're focusing hard on the supercritical field of renewable energy. And this is the big number that puts everything into context. Egypt is aiming for a massive 42% of its total energy to come from renewables by 2030. Now, to hit a target that ambitious, you just can't rely on foreign suppliers for everything. You have to start building the components yourself. And this illustrates that shift perfectly. In the past, if you wanted a solar farm, every single component had to be imported. That costs a ton of foreign currency. But today, new factories right there in Sokhna are already making solar panels with over 50% local parts. That is a massive economic game changer. You know, this whole strategy actually has a name. It's called import substitution. It's a classic economic development tool. And the idea is really simple. Instead of spending your valuable dollars or euros buying things from other countries, you build the factories to make them at home. It saves you money, it creates jobs, and it builds up local expertise. And we're already seeing this strategy attract huge international investment. For example, a new deal with a company called Skadek, worth $1.8 billion, is going to create not just a massive renewable energy plant, but also a factory for battery storage, another absolutely critical piece of the green energy puzzle. So we've seen this strategy. Now let's dig into the actual economic results they're aiming for. Because the goal isn't just to stop importing things, it's to start exporting them. This, for me, is one of the most striking figures from the whole announcement. The new factories being built are targeting a 70-30 split. Only 30% of what they make is for the local Egyptian market. The other 70%, that's all destined for export, designed specifically to bring foreign currency into the country. So when you put it all together, you see how this single initiative is like a silver bullet hitting 4 of the government's biggest economic targets all at once. You're boosting exports? Check. Creating jobs for young people? Check. Saving valuable foreign currency? Check. And building a stronger, more self-reliant industry for the future? Big check. Now, this kind of crazy fast growth is incredibly impressive, but let's be real, it also creates its own set of challenges. So let's take a look at what's next on the road ahead for this ambitious project. It's almost a case of being a victim of your own success. The project has been so good at attracting investment that the demand from global companies is just soaring, and now the current infrastructure is actually struggling to keep up with that demand. And that need, well, it has a price tag. To support the hundreds of new factories that want to set up shop, it's estimated that 40 billion Egyptian pounds will need to be invested. That's a massive amount of money for the essential stuff, the roads, the power grids, the utilities that will support this next wave of growth. This timeline really puts the whole vision into perspective. Right now, it's the private sector that's really driving this, making up over 65% of the foreign investment. By 2026, just a couple of years from now, they expect 50 to 60 of these factories under construction to be operational. And the long-term prize for all this activity? To help push the national economic growth up to between 7.5 and 8% by 2030. But in the end, the Prime Minister brought it all back to the people. This quote really says it all. It emphasizes that the ultimate goal of all these numbers, the factories, the investment, the growth targets, is all about building a better future for the country's next generation. So that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? We're seeing a clear model here. The state invests heavily to build world-class infrastructure, and that in turn attracts massive private sector investment to build and produce. The pieces are in place, the momentum is clearly strong, and it really makes you wonder, could this be the formula that truly transforms Egypt's entire economic landscape?